It's Eric Garland here. Welcome back to the Garland Report. Future trends, what's going on in the world, how to think about it, what you should do about it. Always happy to be with you. I'm frustrated today, guys. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about this Elon Musk and Tesla. People driving me crazy. They don't get it. People, they just don't understand. They're so confused. It's an electric car. It's like a golf cart. He's opening a battery store. He's making a gigafactory. What does it all mean? It's all so confusing to me. Oh, frustrating sometimes. Here's what's going on, guys. Peak oil. I said it. Peak oil. Oh, had we stopped talking about that? Did mouthy people on Wall Street go, well, look, it's the golden age of petroleum in North Dakota? Do we have to cover this again, guys? Every time a bubble blows up, they got to replace it with a new bubble because the boomers want to retire. After the dot-com thing blew up, we did war and security, and we did housing. The housing blew up because there was no actual growth behind it. It blew up. And then we've gone into junk bonds, which has led to fracking, because energy went from 6% of the junk bond market to 15% of the junk bond market. So fracking came online, and we dumped massive amounts of 13% loans, 15% loans, to get all those spigots dug into North Dakota and Texas and Oklahoma. We also have been piling money, bubble style, into whatever might be the next technological disruption. But it hasn't gotten away from some classic things, such as it's more expensive to dig oil out of the ground than it used to be when you were a kid and a barrel of oil was $12 or $8 or $18. That's in constant dollars. Don't lecture me. Back then, $1 was worth more. I do this for a living. I know that. So here's what's going on, baby. Peak oil. We really topped out for the most part globally in about 2005 to 2007. And the cost of extracting oil has been getting higher because we dug out much of the easy stuff and we got to go for the tight oil. And that is what the fracking play is. Tight oil. It's down there. You got to get it. And so through the magic of junk bonds, we have been turning on a bunch of casino gamblers to stick holes in Texas and North Dakota and elsewhere. And yes, it flooded the market because demand didn't go up, okay? There has not been consumer demand to go along with it. So when you suddenly, on a bunch of credit cards, dig out a bunch of tight oil faster than you used to, and there isn't demand, why supply increases. And I don't know how many of out there of you took Economics 101, that makes the price fall. Now, it's a global market, so there's, the Dubai crude, there's OPEC-produced crude, and they have different prices at times, but they're all kind of linked. And little birdies tell me that the Saudis love the idea of our fracking operations going out. Now, I'm going to bring this back to Elon Musk and Tesla, don't you worry. But here's the gig, guys. Petroleum is going to be harder and harder to get. And that's the peak oil part. It's not as cheap as it used to be to get it, which is why we dig the Deep Horizon well in the Bay of Mexico that blew up. That's why we were fooling around down the bottom of the ocean. Long ago are the days of the Beverly Hillbillies, where we just be shooting for muskrats and oil come up bubbling out of the ground. One of the first places they discovered petroleum was in Pennsylvania. Farmers were noticing petroleum bubbling up through their farm fields, they're like, drat, it's no good. Darn it, I got too much petroleum on my land. This is the last time anybody said that. It used to be much easier to get to petroleum. And that's what the peak part is about. Everybody misconstrues the argument. They don't look at how much oil is coming out of the ground compared to 20 years ago, compared to 10 years ago. How long does a well last in production? What's its rate of decline? They avoid all that tough stuff because it's just, we love the scoreboard going up. We got more. M-O-A-R, more. We're going to have more. We love more. Cheaper, well, maybe not cheaper, but more expensive, higher prices, higher profits, more. That's a story we like a lot better other than we still find ways to get petroleum, but we got to get more clever about it than we ever used to. And yes, there are economies that are still using petroleum more and more every day. The demand for it in developing economies, industrializing economies of India and Brazil and places like that. So here's the thing. How does this relate back to electric cars and batteries and all this crazy magical stuff that Elon Musk is doing? The big boys that are making the real plans, they know it's going for king grid. You're getting on the grid, baby. All you libertarians with your Daniel Boone coonskin caps, you're going off the grid. With your bar of gold and your signed books from Glenn Beck, you're going off the grid. Everybody else is going on the grid, electrical grid. Why? It doesn't make sense to run an economy based on liquid fleet fuels that are very likely to be in shorter supply over time, that are likely to have events where the price fluctuates greatly. Oh, cheap oil scares people like the airline companies and the transit companies, all those people that deliver your boxes from Amazon. That scares them too, because they can't rely on it. And when you have dwindling cheap supply, that's the point, the cheap supply. Because remember, for them Saudis with the gold toilets and the gold BMWs, their cost of extraction is about $16 a barrel. So even if it drops to $44 a barrel, Saudi's still buying gold toilets. Fracking costs $76 a barrel on the median. That means there's some plays it's $40 or $50 to get out, and there's some that's $120 to get out. Now, when oil was over $100 not long ago, that made a $76 play look pretty good. But when oil's 50 or 60, it's not good. It means you're losing money. It's very simple. And the big boys that are looking at this for serious, that aren't trying to pump and dump stocks on a television program or something, they know what's up. They know what's going on. You got solar. The price of solar is falling, and there's so much innovation going on in solar. You're going to have electrical grid going to places that it's never been before, so the future of economic development heavily implicated by this. Awesome. My friend Josette Bouffard-Thomas, who is my oldest business partner, a Haitian woman who calls Paris her home, she dedicated herself to a project called Haiti Futur, all about improving education for the future of Haiti after that earthquake took out her home country. And it's all dependent on solar panels that can fire up their interactive digital whiteboards in these towns that are off the grid. They can bring the grid cheaply to places that never had it, and it's going to change education. It's really, really cool. So solar's got a lot of implications for renewables. You see Germany's taken the lead there. 35 million, or 35 megawatt, I believe, of capacity and growing. It's not much compared to nuclear power plants and stuff, but, it's significant and growing. But here's the thing. If you are making future plans, real future plans, you're not doing it around petroleum. You're doing it around the grid. Natural gas, you can still get that. It's a good deal, too. and it's used to fire power plants, which create grid electricity. It doesn't go into cars. There's a few buses, okay. It's all the grid, because you ain't going to get that oil. Not the way you used to. Not the George W. Bush way of just poking a hole in the ground and hoping. The television show Dallas. It's not happening anymore. You're not going to strike it rich. You want to get oil, it's going to be deep down there, and there's going to be a lot of competition for it, and it's going to be hard to predict. We're not going to run out of oil. That's never been the point of peak oil. Look, it's cheap. Sounds about as smart as, it's cold in one part of the globe. The rest of the globe is having record temperatures. But this means, therefore, global warming ain't happening because it's cold somewhere. Yeah, good logic. Just because we got some cheap gas does not mean the peak oil is not happening. Almost all the data suggests that we may come up with clever fixes on a temporary basis, but unless that data turns around from all the actual mega fields, the super fields, and the individual wells that are expected to pump so much per day, if that decline curve doesn't change, peak oil has not changed. And I'll bet the guys like Elon Musk know where it's going. They want to be part of the change towards more economic development fueled by the electrical grid. Wouldn't you? Good entrepreneurs want to be at the place of the most change with the most resources. And Elon Musk is a pretty good entrepreneur, as near as I can tell. Oh, he's getting a battery company. It's so strange. And I read in Harvard Business Review a piece about they'll never be able to scale up Tesla. It just won't work. So this is my article. Okay. The point wasn't to scale up a really nice $85,000 sports car company so that everybody has one. That's never been the plan. If you follow the work of Clayton Christensen, the point always was to get in the business of electrical things, smart electrical things, and fuel it with R&D so you can take more of other people's business. You don't gotta win the game all at once. You gotta just win a part of it and fuel your next thing. And this is why a lot of people don't understand the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Netflixes of the world. But that's stupid. They'll never be able to, no, they're in the game. They're fueling R&D. They are developing products. And in the case of getting in early in the business of advanced electrical grid solutions like batteries for the home, as if maybe, why would you need that? Oh, because you're going to have a solar panel on the home? Oh, you don't now? Well, you will when they get more sophisticated. And if you look at the technological forecasts, it's coming up. So, yep, once again, people don't get it, but that's fine, because that peak oil thing isn't fun. It's not the casino going ding, 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 ding. I've struggled with this, but I'm feeling so zen right now. It's okay. People don't got to get it. They can like the bright, shiny lights and the loudness, all that. But the future does not need our permission to change our lives as we go forward. It just will. So, electrical grid. Think about it.